until you're 18. I can control you for 3 more.
Ooh.
1, 2, 3, go. Stop, Danny! Danny, show them your body so they can be quiet. Get Mikey in the live and dance. You guys stop?
How much downtime does Danielle get?
Not much.
She shouldn't get weekends off, or she works Monday to Sunday.
Yeah.
It's a lot of work.
Can I get off and eat in the later? Why? Why do I have to eat in front of them? That's disgusting.
It's not disgusting.
Yes, it is.
Do you feel pressure to carry on to maintain this life?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to live with this for my whole life.
Does that feel like a lot?
Yeah, sometimes.
Like my dad, is not even, a bad person. There's been, sometimes where, people, will think that I think my dad is a bad person, but, he's not a bad person. My parents just didn't really get along.
And as far as people saying that she needs to live with her dad doesn't want her like that. I want her. This is my baby.
People try to, turn it and say that, oh, Danny hates her dad, her mom manipulates her to hate her dad. No.
My mother was technically a single mom majority of our life. Yes, we had lived in his house, but not once did he come to any one of our football games, Danny's cheer games, one of her pageants. He never supported her, nor did he care to.
Your dad died. Stop lying. You wouldn't be on here if he did die.
I wish.
Chad has never felt bad enough for his sister to stop Jen from lying about stuff, it just blows my mind that doesn't affect him the way that I would expect an older sibling. It's just it doesn't make sense. But everybody else has told me oh, it's because Jen just keeps him high, so he doesn't really care.
Sounds about right.
What was that?
Yeah, I said it sounds about right. Chad, the conversation used to go, Mom, can I have money for weed? Yeah, can you leave me alone?
Of marijuana with intent to sell.
It was kind of funny that they post 20-year-old allegations from stuff that were all dropped. All that stuff was 20 years ago and dropped. I'm 40 now. I was a kid back then. That's all you got, and that's what you're gonna post based on the fact that I said you were a certain age, and so instead of saying the truth, you guys just post stuff like that. If you want to post a 20-year-old conviction that was dropped, all of them, go for it. You can do that if you want. But it kind of proves that you guys have nothing about the truth that you want to portray.
Just saying, that doesn't really sound like a father figure to me. And I can promise you my mom has no criminal record. No one in my family does, really.
Yeah, whatever you want me to do with anything. If you want me to do nothing, that's fine too. I'm good to do whatever. But thank you for telling me.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, you can use any other information that I give you.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't really.
Okay.
Sure.
Okay.
So basically, the whole situation started, kind of towards the beginning of summer. Yeah, towards the beginning of summer. Danielle and me got into, an argument or whatever. She was calling me crying, we're done, and then I was like, what do I have to do to, be with you? Because this all sounds crazy. And she was like, do you know what emancipation is? And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, you have to get emancipated, and that's the only way I'm going to be with you. Danny was telling me, your parents are, taking all your money, this, that, the other. And so I'm mad. Then the next morning, I wake up, and my mom's literally about to go put, a down payment on a new apartment for us. And I'm like, Mom, don't do that. I want to get emancipated. My mom's like, what? You sound crazy. How do you plan on doing that? And I was like, I'm smart. I was just being an ass. Totally not me at all. And so I go back in my house because she called me out to the car when I told her that. Well, while my mom's parked in the car, my dad's talking to me, and he was like getting mad, like, because like that's taking away like what he's supposed to be, and that's a parent, you know, like he has that right till I'm 18, and like that's what frustrated him. Basically, my parents told me like, go to the courthouse, get the papers, and come back. I was talking to Danny when my parents like told me to go get the emancipation papers. John's mom took me to Jen's. I dropped off my dog and my cat. Then we're staying in an Airbnb in like the hills. I Ubered to the Airbnb. Jen was on the phone with my mom, and I was on FaceTime with Danny on my way to Danny. Well, when I got to the Airbnb, Jen was still on the phone with my mom, and my mom was like asking her, "Where is Mikey? Where is Mikey?" Jen's like, "I don't know. I'm on vacation. Like I have no idea what you're talking about." While I'm sitting right next to her, like, and my mom has no idea.
That's like straight up like kidnapping. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, she's psycho. I stayed at the Airbnb for a night. Then the next day, she had to go to the studio to make her, I think it's the Mia Moore song. And so she took me to the studio. Well, the person who owns the studio also knows my parents, and my parents had reached out to them. Well, Jen told me to stay in the car and hide in the car. And so I stayed in the car. Halfway through the studio, Jen comes out, and she's like, "We need to get you a phone." And I'm like, okay. She takes me to a Verizon store. She buys me an iPhone XR, which is like pretty decent phone. And then she takes me back to the studio, and then I'm just sitting in the car for like 30 more minutes. Then she gets me a hotel for I think it was like something like 7 days or something. But the reason why she did that was because she said if I was still like on the run during VidCon, that I could just stay in the hotel room and my parents would never know. When I was in the hotel, when my parents were like exposing her on my, like when my parents were logged into my account, using her, Danielle is not like the age she says she is. She was calling me, blowing up my phone, saying, "You need to go live, you need to talk about your parents." I was like, no, like, the attorney said not to, like, the lawyer said not to, so I'm not going to. And she was like, no, and she was like, if you don't, then I'm not going to be with you. Like, she always would threaten me. But I was so wrapped up that, like, I was like, no, I want to be with this girl. While I was live, like, when I decided to go live, I got a text message from my trap phone that Jen got me. That was how I communicated with my parents, because the police can't track that phone. While I was live, I got a text from my dad saying, "You're going to be a felon." It was Danny's birth certificate. Jen had a hotel room across the street from me at a Marriott. I was staying at a extended stay. Also during all this, like, I walked over to her hotel room. All of a sudden, I get another call from my trap phone, number, which is where I live. It's from the police department. They're like questioning me. They're like, "How old is Danny?" I'm like, 15. Like, they were like, "Are you sure?" And I was like, "Yes." And then, like, the police officer was just like, "All right, well, that's good to know, basically. Don't know her real age." Because little did I know, my mom went into the police department with her birth certificate to make sure that it was real. The police officer was like, "Here, talk to your mom." And my mom was just bawling her eyes out. And Jen's like behind the phone laughing. Like, I have it on speaker and she's behind the phone laughing. Again, my mom still doesn't know who I'm with. She has an idea, but she doesn't know. I was so, like, it was my first relationship. I was so, like wrapped up with, like, everything, like, that I was getting, like, all the gifts I was getting from her and all that, like, all like, the expensive things, all the trips, all the hotels were being paid for. So I was just, like, you know, definitely not myself.